The second visit of the year to Lydden Hill in Kent for the Toyo Tyres Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship. And it could not be tighter between Julian Godfrey and Derek Tohill. They're tied on points. They both had 2 wins apiece. Last time out, we were on a slippery Pembrey circuit. Derek Tohill was the man to beat on the second day of the action, managing to get ahead of Ollie O'Donovan and Julian Godfrey. The triple Irish champion in unstoppable form. And so, after 4 rounds of the championship, Julian Godfrey, Derek Tohill tied on points ahead of Steve Hill, who was in Ollie O'Donovan's Ford Focus at Pembrey. O'Donovan is 4th.
The second half of the season gets underway today, and you come here joint leading the points with Julian Godfrey. What's your strategy?
Yeah, go like stink. This is one of my favourite tracks in the world, and the track is looking mighty good this morning, so really looking forward to getting out in the heats, and it's pretty hot out there today, so yeah, keep her cool, I suppose, would be the strategy.
Jack Thorne, a familiar face to the British Rallycross Championship. You've won the Super 1600 title before. You've also dappled in Supercar, but you're back now for a new appearance in an OMC Fiesta. What's the story there?
We've bought the car again last Sunday. We was here testing to map it on Saturday to the new fuel. Mapped it, went well. Supercar was a challenge we took on in 2016, and unfortunately we was defeated by it. So we're back with a vengeance really, and took the bull by the horns, and we're back to beat it this time.
You got a good haul of points in the double-header at Pembrey last time out. What are your hopes for today?
Hopefully just get some more good points. Really just got to stay very close to Derek the whole time, just to see what he's doing, because he's the main competitor this year. We're level points at the moment, and I've got to really try and finish in front of him. That's the main object of the day, and try and get some good points.
The supercars in the Toyo Tyres Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship have been in fine form today. Ollie Bennett has been a very welcome guest. Dramas have put him out though during the day, but he has taken the battle to Julian Godfrey in the first race of Q1. Q1 though was topped by Derek Tohill. Jack Thorne has been mighty as well, returning to supercars, graduating once more from Super 1600. Tohill quickest in Q1 then, Julian Godfrey the man that was quickest in Q2. The first race being dominated by Jack Thorne. There was no stopping Godfrey, however, in the second race, even getting his elbows out to go ahead of Steve Hill on the Joker lap at the first corner. He outpaced Tohill. And Q3 had an impressive run by Roger Thomas in the slower half's first race. But when we went racing with the quick guys, Jack Thorne put himself ahead, only to lose out on the Joker, and Derek Tohill, with damaged bodywork, fell way back as Godfrey went fastest. So Julian Godfrey, it will be on pole, Derek Tohill with him, and also Jack Thorne on the front row. Roger Thomas and Steve Hill 4th and 5th in the classification. So now it is time to go racing. Julian Godfrey on pole position. 2 wins have gone his way this year. 2 wins to Derek Tohill, middle of the front row. Jack Thorne's Fiesta on the outside. Roger Thomas and Steve Hill on the second row. Ollie Bennett should be on the third row with Andy Grant and Simon Horton as we get set to go racing. Bennett missing after dramas. Lights go green. Great start by Thorne. Is it good enough? He will go for the standard lap. Steve Hill does go Joker from the outside. Thorne is ahead of Godfrey. Tohill gets into the rubbing match with Roger Thomas, and Tohill is all sideways as Godfrey pounces for the race lead. Back to tarmac, Thorne goes sideways. Julian Godfrey is the race leader, and that could be absolutely critical with Tohill with damage already down in 4th place. Electric start by Jack Thorne, but it has not served him well enough. Julian Godfrey is ahead then as they turn round the hairpin here. Downhill for the first time. Turn right onto the loose. Derek Tohill with more battered bodywork, flapping in the breeze, goes after Roger Thomas, who's getting better and better and better every time he sits in this car. Jack Thorne still the most spectacular, up onto 2 wheels out of the chicane. Tohill now goes for the Joker. Through that narrow right-left sequence, then the road opens up a little bit. You jump down back onto Cheston's Drift. He's behind Steve Hill, and Hill, remember, jokered at the first corner. So that means Derek Tohill has lost a place already to Steve Hill, courtesy of the Joker lap. Julian Godfrey looking good up front here, maybe for win number 3 of the season. On board with Hill. Next target for him is Andy Grant. Derek Tohill is determined to try to get past him. Now, is he going to be able to make up any of that lost ground? They're all concertinaing down to paddock here. On board with Hill. Derek Tohill, despite the damage, chasing after him. Seemingly it is only bodywork rather than anything sinister like suspension. This time Grant goes for the joker. He's going to lose track position. Hill under attack from Tohill as they come across the loose as one. Has Tohill got the pace then? He's been a winner here. He's been a winner at Pembrey, and he goes now through the left-hander. Wide is Hill, up the inside, coming out of the elbow, the outside for the hairpin goes Tohill. On board with Hill, where's the Fiesta? Is it alongside, is it behind? It's still behind, but Tohill looks for the undercut, coming out of the corner. Can't find a way through there. Steve Hill stands on the brakes. The rear of the car dancing around, he's sideways across the loose. Godfrey goes joker look. Jack Thorne takes over the lead of the race. And there is Godfrey, who is going to be still ahead of the Hill-Tohill battle. And he's ahead of them by some margin as well, look. So now the real question is whether Jack Thorne can get his head down and try and build enough of a gap to hang on to the lead when he jokers. It's going to be a tall order. Is it possible? Let's see. Through the dust charges Simon Horton. There's the on-the-road leader, Jack Thorne. Behind him is Roger Thomas. And they have yet to joker, and Godfrey's pace looking as though he's going to be able to take the lead of the race without much worry on the joker lap. Started the year, remember, did Julian Godfrey in the Mitsubishi Mirage. He has switched back to his regular all-conquering Fiesta. Thorne, jokers, sideways, scrubbing off speed, losing out. Godfrey goes ahead of him. And what about third? Because Hill and Tohill are closing up on Thomas. Look in the background. Derek Tohill goes ahead of Steve Hill, and he's not that far behind the Welshman either. Julian Godfrey is at the hairpin at the top of Hairy Hill, and it looks as though a win beckons for him as now he accelerates down towards the loose. Jack Thorne, though, is driving really well. Thomas has a problem and goes wide, so Derek Tohill, all of a sudden, he's on the podium. A lap ago, it looked very unpromising. Now he's heading for third spot as he goes through the right. There to the loose section of circuit, Julian Godfrey way out up front. And Steve Hill still working hard as he closes on Roger Thomas. Can he gain one more spot before the end of the race here? He's certainly working hard. He's certainly getting nearer. So Julian Godfrey came here as the joint championship leader. A win would put him as a clear championship leader as Jack Thorne chases after him, and Jack, quickest in practice, continuing to get better and better and better each time out in the car. Downhill he comes now. Sideways onto the loose at paddock, understeer, oversteer. He's still adapting to this car, but he's adapted really well today. There is the flag for Julian Godfrey to win here at Lyddon. Jack Thorne is going to be second, and Derek Tohill takes third. Steve Hill fourth, just getting ahead of Roger Thomas at the end. And Andy Grant is going to be the final finisher. Down he comes towards the chicane. Tell you a lie, the penultimate finisher, because Simon Horton Subaru has dropped back behind him. So Grant and Horton will come through for penultimate and last places here at Lyddon. So Julian Godfrey wins only by a second from Jack Thorne. Derek Tohill is third, then Steve Hill fourth, and Roger Thomas in fifth.
Julian Godfrey, you told me earlier in the day you set your fastest ever lap around Lyddon Hill in Q2. A fantastic performance, a great move on Jack Thorne in the final, another victory.
Yeah, no, it went very well. Again, in the 30, I set another faster lap time. To another 2/10 off my best time, and the car's going really, really well now. And Jack got a slightly better start, but then he ran a bit wide in Chester, so we touched wheels, bent the steering, so I had about a half-turn steering, driving around a half-turn on the steering wheel, and it's really shaking away. So I took the joker early, just because I had to drive defensively on the last couple of laps.
This car is a good car, it's proven, so it's just about me learning to drive it. As the day went on, we found time, tried different things as a driver in the car, and some worked, some didn't. But yeah, I think we've got a head around it pretty well for the first event. Never dreamed of coming here and coming second, only 1 second across the finish line behind Julian, which is 5 times British champion, I think. So I chucked everything into them last 2 laps trying to catch, but I think my tyres had gone, or I'd pushed the tyres too far. I think it's a better way to put that.
Derek, probably your hardest fought final of the year. That didn't go exactly to plan, did it? But a good result salvaged.
Yeah, it wasn't looking too good with a lap or so to go. I think we were down in 5th or 6th. To salvage a podium on a bad day is probably not a bad result. So yeah, it is points on the board, and championship is still wide open. So salvaged something out of what was a tough day.
And as far as the championship is concerned, Julian Godfrey takes back the lead. Derek Tohill is second, Steve Hill third, the absent Ollie O'Donovan is placed fourth. A championship that always delivers great racing is the Motorsport UK Junior Rallycross Championship. And here at Lyddon, Ben Sayer is the man that's been fastest in Q1, Q2 and Q3. He starts as the man to beat in the final. This promises to be a very interesting race. Ben Sayer, who's had no podium finishes yet this year, alongside Patrick O'Donovan, who's yet to score a win, and Robert Svitals, who has been victorious. Then Tom Avenden, Alfie Porter, row 2, Harry Garman, Luke Constantine, Archie Thomas on row 3 as the lights go to green and the teenagers blast away. On board with Patrick O'Donovan as he goes up through the gears. He will go for the standard lap as Robert Svitals, who we've also seen in the Rallycross Academy and Rallycross Nordic this year, as well as the Latvian Championship. He will go to the Joker. Here they come then, across the loose. Local man Tom Avenden, one to watch. Harry Garman, you'll see in number 75, having his debut. Former Carter, and he was 14 only 2 days ago. Ben Sayer and Patrick O'Donovan together being cheered on, and Ben Sayer loses out slightly on the outside line, but he's got the inside for the hairpin, and he goes back through on the inside. O'Donovan then has to give way, but looks for the tighter line coming out of the hairpin, gets across the road, and now lines up to make the attack on the run down to paddock. Fantastic stuff this between them. Sayer using all of the curb on the outside, but that puts him onto the wrong part of the circuit. O'Donovan goes through, fighting the understeer across the loose. They're all in identical Suzuki Swifts, remember, and the leader is now Patrick O'Donovan. Dad, a former British champion in the supercars, and now Patrick O'Donovan, who has been very consistent, even though he has not been a race winner this year, leads the way from Ben Sayer, who started on pole but has yet to even get on the podium. So both of them are hugely determined here to try to score a victory. Through the devil's elbow they come. Now the run up the hill, absolutely as one here. Sayer trying to force a mistake out of O'Donovan. Where can he make the move? Let's see. Under braking, he closes up and he locks up. There, getting a little bit closer to them, look, is Archie Thomas. Dad Roger out in the supercars within the MS UK British Championship. And Ben Sayer hits the loose surface once more. O'Donovan stabbing on off the brakes, goes through the chicane. And Sayer looking a little bit nearer as they hit the tarmac. He goes for the Joker. Maintains the momentum, but it's a longer, slower line. So he will come back onto the standard lap, further adrift of O'Donovan, hoping, though, that when O'Donovan jokers, he'll be able to get ahead. Now they're going through. Tom Avenden, you've also got Robert Svitals, who jokered early, and Sayer seemingly is going to stay ahead of him. 107 going through, Luke Constantine. Now where is Svitals? Where is Avenden in all of this? Svitals is ahead of Avenden, which means, therefore, that Svitals in the first of the two red cars is also the best of those that has jokered, and he will be ahead of Ben Sayer there, look, as they come up towards the hairpin. Up the inside of Constantine goes Tom Avenden, trying to force the issue. He was on the second row of the grid, leans on Constantine as they head down the hill. Constantine, double winner this year. He won at Silverstone, he won here earlier on in the year at Lyddon as well, and there's a bit of leaning going on. Constantine, though, being forced down the order. He gets into the side of Harry Garman. Onto the loose they go. Garman showing good pace here. He may be new to Rallycross, but he's not afraid to stick out his elbows. Get stuck in, is he? So there they are across the Dover slope once again as the race leaders work their way up the hill now. Patrick O'Donovan trying to build this gap in order to make sure that he's able to maintain the lead when he jokers. In 2.62 going through is Alfie Porter. Battle on here, Robert Svitals versus Ben Sayer, but because they're now squabbling, they're delaying each other, and that's enabling O'Donovan to get away. It's a 6-lap race. Across the loose they bounce onto tarmac once more. And there, look, you've got the yellow car in the hands of Patrick O'Donovan, heading across the loose section once more. Now the gap that he's built up is 3 seconds over Roberts Vitals. 107 going through is Luke Constantine, and he seemingly is not going to score well in this race, which is not great news for the championship. He does lead the championship, but is he going to hang on to the gap come the end of the race, or could indeed he lose the championship lead? Ben Sayer now to the outside of Roberts Vitals. He's ahead, but he can't get across and cover off the move. Both go deep and wide through the hairpin. Ben Sayer being cheered on. There's contact between the two of them. Vitals on the inside goes through, and Ben Sayer from pole is now down to third in the race. There's O'Donovan onto the last lap. Goes Joker. Has he done enough? Has he got enough in hand to still lead when he comes back onto the circuit? And that's Vitals in strife. The hatch is open. He's got an air brake, so Ben Sayer will go back ahead of him seemingly and into the lead of the race. Ben Sayer goes through on the Joker. O'Donovan loses out, so Ben Sayer's energies in this race look like they're going to be rewarded, or are they? O'Donovan dives up the inside, clatters away by, and he goes through, but he goes wide. Ben Sayer comes back at him. Yellow livery for O'Donovan, white for Sayer. Neither of them have had a win, and there's really only 2 corners to go. This is O'Donovan's view, down a gear. He's on the inside, he's got the lead. Ovenden's on the inside, and Sayer hung out to dry. Suddenly, it is 5 for the race lead, and O'Donovan is in front when it counts. Ben Sayer is back into second place, but Patrick O'Donovan is going to be on target for a first win in the Junior Championship, but only just. It's O'Donovan, Sayer, Ovenden as they cross the line. What a race. What a great advert for Junior Rallycross. Patrick O'Donovan wins for the first time this year from Ben Sayer. Tom Ovenden third ahead of Luke Constantine. And in the championship, we've got a new leader by 1 point. Patrick O'Donovan now goes ahead of Luke Constantine with Roberts Vitals in third.
It's really special to score my first victory at the home of Rallycross. I've had a really close day today. We've had a lot of battles. I've been consistently second throughout the heats, and so I just went for the gap and it paid off. So I'm really happy about that.
The final coming up for the Motorsport UK Super National Rallycross Championship. Tristan Ovenden is the man on pole position. He's unbeaten this year. He's got Paul Coney and the Irishman Peter McGarry for company. Dave Ellis and Guy Corner on the second row ahead of Darren Scott, Craig Lomax and Paige Bellaby. But missing is Guy Corner. Missing too seemingly is Bellaby as the lights change. A demon start by Ovenden at his home circuit. And Peter McGarry with the Vauxhall VX220 that he's brought to the British Championship for the first time goes after him. Paul Coney, the best of those in Super 1600. We've lost Paige Bellaby and also Guy Corner with broken drive shafts, I understand, after the semi-finals. Big disappointment. Now there is Paul Coney, and already Darren Scott, the man from Sittingbourne, is right up behind him. Scott at his home circuit in the Citroën tries to get ahead of the Corsa out of the hairpin, while Tristan Ovenden's perfectly sorted V6 Clio storms away in this 2-wheel drive race. Peter McGarry goes after him. These are the top Super 1600 drivers heading across the loose. Ovenden it is who leads, unbeaten this year. It's actually been a weird day for him because he's had lots of little niggling dramas across the heats, but right now it's all coming good for him. There is Peter McGarry. When he's not racing, he's Derek Tuhill's spotter. We saw him at Silverstone at the start of the season, and it's good to have him back here and going nicely in the Vauxhall. Shame he's not been out for more of the season. But here's the real fight. It's third in the race, and it's for the lead of Super 1600. Paul Coney is just ahead of Darren Scott as they make the run up the hill here. Through the hairpin goes the Vauxhall, but Darren Scott shadowing Paul Coney's every move, and he lines up to have a go on the inside line, heading downhill here. Is he going to be able to squeeze through? This is for Super 1600 lead. Yes, Darren Scott does go through. In fairness to Coney, he gave him racing room, but through goes Darren Scott, rides the curb and heads to the loose section as the new class leader. There you've got Craig Lomax, championship leader in Super 1600, coming here this weekend, but not matching their pace in the race. Hurling the car across that loose surface. But Peter McGarry running now in the Vauxhall second in the race. Is he being caught, I wonder, by the Super 1600 of Darren Scott, who ahead of Coney is getting away a little bit. There is Dave Ellis with his Suzuki Swift. Started on the second row of the grid for this final, so it's going nicely. McGarry looking as though second place is going to be his. And there Paul Coney struggling now to get back onto terms with Darren Scott, so can't see him getting ahead here. Clambering up the curb there, look, goes Scott. He will now go for the Joker. He goes deep into the race circuit version, if you like, of Chessons, but then halfway around it, you change down, you turn sharp right, then left through the man-made chicane, over the little jump and back onto the loose surface. He stays ahead of Darren Scott, stays ahead of Craig Lomax, I should say. Darren Scott stays ahead of Lomax, so now can Scott do anything about getting his class advantage back when Coney serves the Joker? Craig Lomax's view here, heading up the hill. Understeer for Scott. Lomax a little nearer to him, but that's really a legacy of the Joker rather than pace. Tristan Ovenden blasts into Chessons Drift. The car just loves Liddon. It's a long lap relative to some. It's where it can stretch its legs. And immaculately presented as ever, is heading for a win, seemingly. Peter McGarry is second after the Joker, and there, Darren Scott back ahead into the lead of Super 1600. The pace is good, and so Darren Scott gets back ahead of Paul Coney on the Joker lap and looks as though he's going to be on target here for a class win. Into the hairpin now. The Super 1600s not looking as though they're going to be able to do much about the Super National machinery. Last lap for Tristan Ovenden. This is going to be 5 out of 5 in just so far the ultimate season, the perfect run for him. Peter McGarry then onto the loose surface once more, heading for second, and then third Darren Scott looking for a class win. Craig Lomax there is a bit too far back from Paul Coney to realistically attack. So there through is Ovenden, out of the hairpin, and now down the hill he goes. What a season he is enjoying. There is Craig Lomax wanting the points, even if he can't take a win here in Super 1600. Flag at the ready, it's a win for Tristan Ovenden, and a win by the proverbial country mile from Peter McGarry, having his best of the season. Admittedly a limited season in the UK, but a great run for second ahead of Darren Scott. So Tristan Ovenden wins the Super National final from Peter McGarry, and Darren Scott, the winning Super 1600 driver, third from Paul Coney, fourth. So what does all that do to the championship? Tristan Ovenden is still the man in charge. Craig Lomax second. Now Paige Bellaby drops down to third. And so from the sunshine of Liddon, the teams head next to Pembrey. Another visit to South Wales. That's the next stop for the championship.